welcome to A Novel Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. My name is Chris, and with me is my beautiful co-host and wife, Karradyne.
Hello.
How are you doing?
It sounded kind of like you said ant wife.
Ant wife.
Mm-hmm. I'm a large ant.
That's either incestuous or
How is that incestuous?
an ant.
Oh, A-U-N-T.
Or an ant, so it would be zoophiliac as well.
Man, I remember writing like a card to my two aunts one time when I was in primary school, and I wrote Aunt Lynn and Debbie, and I wrote it A-N-T, and they all laughed at me, and I didn't understand why they were laughing.
In Spanish, it would be hormiga
Hormiga?
and tia.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's not gonna...
No.
Can you imagine if you came home from school with Hormiga Tony and Hormiga
Sol.
Sorry? I don't think they would appreciate that.
I mean, I don't think they would get it. We would.
Yeah, we would. Well,
Hey.
they might.
If this is your first time or 134th time coming into the show, welcome. We're glad you're joining us for an episode of A Novel Console. We hope you stick around, have some laughs, and maybe find some new things to enjoy. I completely skipped one sentence. I had to fall back. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our socials, which is basically at A Novel Console on every platform, or you can email us directly at anovelconsole@gmail.com, or if you would like to support us, you could do it at patreon.com/anovelconsole.
Please tell your friends about the show so that we get lots of listeners and we can monetize this bitch. And leave us a review wherever you can because they help us be more discoverable. Also, if you want to join our Discord, go to our Twitter, and look for the pinned tweet or send us an email saying, hey, bitches, I want to join your Discord.
Yes.
Those exact words. Please and thank you.
Patreon supports us, right? It pays for our monthly Buzzsprout subscription.
It does. It's just enough to pay for our subscription.
Which is great.
I mean, it's nice. We do it for free.
It also helps support Adam Blank's Remember the Game. And it also helps support Dave Jackson's The Tube, because I can't remember. He has two podcasts. I can't remember them off the top of my head. And it also supports Aaron and Tommy's Super Pod Saga. They have a Patreon. They put out a lot of stuff on Patreon, so it's worth the $2 if you are going to subscribe to it.
I sense a lot of Patreon content in our near future.
Yes,
we'll get there later.
I've been like making a lot of connections with a lot of podcasters, and right now I have like 15 games that I have to finish this year for them, and I don't know how I'm going to do it.
15? That's nothing.
Yeah, you need to find book podcasters so you can do that same shit.
I'm not a podcast listener. I never have been.
Well, you need to...
I mean, I guess I could be, because I like listening to talk radio.
You can, like, not even listen to podcasts. You can just find them on Twitter or Instagram and connect through there.
But I don't want to listen to them and make sure we actually got something in common.
Well, you need to check them out. So. Yeah.
What if it's like all, I don't know, really, really bad country farm boy porn books? That's not my thing. I like porn, but not farm boy porn.
It's too close to home.
Yeah. I never wanted to ride on a tractor with them boys.
With them boys?
Nope.
Damn boys.
Not my thing.
Okay, so what are we doing today? We're doing
some Middle Earth stuff after some talky stuff because we ain't got shit.
You ain't got shit.
Yeah.
So we're doing a small read in place.
Oh, yeah.
And then we are doing a class on Shadow of War. Well, I'm doing a class on Shadow of War, and Karradyne's going to give me her opinions on everything that I say. So do you want to start off with King of Battle and Blood?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I finished King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair Friday night. And it was wonderful. It is the reason why I don't have anything to talk about this week, because I kind of binge read it all week.
Yeah.
But it's a book I'd been wanting to read for a while. In fact, I put it on my backlog. For the
Really?
last backlog, yeah, because that's the one I didn't have a picture of, because I had it on
Oh,
my Kindle for a while.
okay.
And so I was like, fuck voting, I'm going to read it. So I did, and I loved it. It's a vampire story, but it's also vampires and witches and like a reincarnation, sort of,
Okay.
and lots and lots and lots of really hot, nasty sex.
Ew.
It's so good. There may even be hot, nasty sex with vampire shit happening at the same time. Kind of like
Like
that
the
one book.
vampires taking a shit at the same
Oh
time.
my God, no. Remember that book that I
Empire
read?
of the Vampire.
Yeah, where I didn't finish reading it, but yeah, it wasn't like that. No. That was
So
that
weird.
was a little much. But it was also written by a man, so
Ugh.
I I don't know. I feel like only a man
Didn't
could
he like the
try to
vampire?
romanticize that. I don't
Didn't
know.
the vampire like take out her tampon and dipped it in his tea?
Oh my God, no.
No,
Basically, I mean,
might as well have,
a less
right?
refined version of that. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. But this book was super fun. It's comparable to From Blood and Ash, but it's a much better story than From Blood and Ash. There's a lot more happening, a lot more than just walking through the woods and fighting and then having sex and then fighting again. There's more beef. It's definitely not the most eloquent or well written book I've ever read in my life, but it's good. It's good enough that I immediately
Good enough.
downloaded the sequel. Hey, I still gave it 5 stars. I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
It was a very fun time, but I could definitely see it not being everyone's cup of tea. It is not a beautiful novel by any means, but it was fun. It
Okay.
was real fun.
That's interesting.
What you
Okay.
been playing?
I was in a slump, like in a massive slump because
Which is
of
so rare for you.
the shadow games. Like there was nothing I was picking up that I was enjoying. So I was like, I just want to like play this game and finish it, just get it over with. So I picked back up Callisto Protocol. So I was like 2 or 3 hours into it, and I picked it up. Why are you watching porn?
I'm sorry. It was so tempting after thinking about that book.
Turn your sound off. So I picked back up Callisto Protocol after 3 hours and a couple of weeks or maybe even months of not playing it. And I fell right back into it, into the groove of it. It is a fucking awesome game. It is so much fun. It is like Dead Space because it does wear its Dead Space roots and inspiration on its sleeve. Like you can tell a lot of the team from Dead Space worked on it. But if you look at it as a space horror sci-fi beat 'em up with a little bit of shooting, then you're going to have a better time than if you go into it thinking it's going to be Dead Space. And the story of the game is a lot like Dead Space, I would say. There's, except these people are in a prison in a planet in space, and the warden goes crazy and tries to infect all of them so that they can become the perfect human race. But apparently, there has to be like a super powerful one, and it just goes off the rails from there, like Dead Space, and like the same beats from where the virus comes from. It's kind of like the samey as Dead Space, so it's very Dead Spacey, but at the end, it's kind of left open ended in a way that it looks like there could be a sequel, but I don't know if that's gonna be if the story's gonna be wrapped up entirely in the DLC because there's DLC coming for it.
Do you know what I think of when I hear Dead Spacey?
What?
Kevin Spacey.
Dead Kevin Spacey?
He got canceled.
Yes, he did for being a
He
creep.
might as well be dead.
Yeah. So, where was I going with this?
I have no idea.
So there's one big thing that people are very mad about, and the creators kind of worded it weird. They said, "Oh, we're adding more death animations into the game because that's what people love about Dead Space, the death animations." And they put a pack of I think 13 death animations behind a $10 DLC. But if you look at it in a way of you get new 13 death animations when you buy the season pass, it feels better than them saying, "Give me $10 so you can see your main character die 13 different ways."
Why do you want to see your main character die?
Because some of the deaths are really great.
If you
Some
say so.
are
Was that the one that I said I couldn't sit in here and watch you
where
play?
he got caught in the propeller and sliced in
Yeah,
two.
no, that was too much.
And you didn't see the other one where he got like impaled in his chest and head
I'm glad.
on a spike.
I missed that.
Like in the final boss fight, like he pushed me down and just started beating the ever loving fuck out of my face, and his face was just like caving in with each punch more until it just exploded. And
That's
then,
lovely.
And then when the bad guy walk away, he spits on him. Like, fuck, this game is crazy. It's such a fun game. I do like a bunch of things about the game. So this game has QTEs, which are quick time events, which is whenever the button shows up on the screen, press it so that you can save yourself or whatever. And it gives you the option to turn that off so that you don't have to press the buttons. It just makes it so that every time that you would have to, it does it automatically for you and you win. And I really appreciate that because I am not going to sit there for 10 seconds mashing on the X button so that this monster doesn't rip my head off.
Bless it.
Like, I appreciate that. And the game is linear. It's super streamlined. So I really, really freaking enjoyed this game. To me, this game was a whole 9 out of 10. I think I am going to make a video eventually with a more in-depth review for Patreon and then eventually YouTube, like the God of War one. And we'll go from there. You have another book?
I do. The Quarantine Princess Diaries. I was so pumped for this book. I don't know where I stand. Do I still want to buy the physical copy when it comes out this week? You better bet your ass I do. But it came out digitally before it came out physically. I love the Princess Diaries books. I love them so much. They are so fucking different than the movies, but I love them. Like, Grandma is a bitch in the books. She is a bitch.
So is this book like the Metroid Prime of books? Like first out digital and then eventually it gets a physical?
Sure.
Because that's what happened with Metroid Prime
Sure.
remaster.
We'll say
Came out
that.
a few weeks ago on the
Yeah.
Switch.
We'll say that's what it is.
So you have a space arm cannon
Yeah.
and you can shoot space people with in the face.
Yeah.
But in book form.
You're the Princess of Genovia. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Nice.
Did you ever
Pirates.
watch either one of the Princess Diaries movies?
I was forced to watch the first one and it was terrible.
Okay. So you're at least somewhat familiar. Mia.
I think that's where my disdain for Anne Hathaway comes from.
Oh my gosh. How? It's a great movie.
No, it's not.
It's one of the best movies of all time.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
It's amazing.
Just continue. We're
Anyway.
gonna be here all night saying back and forth.
Anyway,
And yes.
I've read all the Princess Diaries books. I love all of them. They are hilarious, even though they are wildly different from the movies. She marries Michael Moskowitz, by the way, like in case anybody, Moskowitz, whatever. She does not marry Chris Pine, whoever the fuck he played in that second movie. I can't remember. But John Rhys Davies was his uncle. Uncle? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He was a bad man in that movie. A bad man.
A way to rope it back into Middle Earth March.
Right? Gimli is Princess Mia's future uncle-in-law. Yeah. Anywho, in the movie, not in the book. What was I saying? Okay, Quarantine Princess Diaries. I don't know if I like it or not because most of it is just like spouting COVID facts. And obviously, it's
So
March
stupid.
of 2023, so we know all of that.
It's been 3 years.
Yes, 3 years,
3 years.
to the days.
Nice.
The country was shut down on like March 15th of 2020. And it is March 26th, 2023.
We got COVID almost 3 years after it happened.
I know.
That's insane.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Continue.
Pretty nuts. Anywho, So yeah, I'm kind of bored. Like it's like regular Princess Diaries funny. Next sentence, all COVID facts. And I'm just not that into it. Hopefully it'll pick up a little bit. Yeah.
Well, at some point they got to run out of COVID facts, right?
I don't know. I don't know. If this had been released like a month or two into COVID, I think it would have been a home run. But
A month or two, we were still trying to figure out COVID and still fighting each other on wearing masks or not.
yep, that's true. That's true. I remember you rage going to Walmart one day because the mask mandate was about to go into place and you're like, "Fuck this. I'm going to go to Walmart before I have to put on a mask because I'm not going to Walmart with a mask." And then we became maskers.
We did become maskers.
You were very anti-mask before.
I was anti-mask because of Amazon, because I worked at Amazon at that point.
Yeah, you did.
Right?
Yeah.
And they forced us to wear the masks to do the deliveries. And it was 90 degrees outside and the blistering fucking sun, going up 3-story
You know.
flights of stairs to deliver shit because people wanted to receive it firsthand. Like, Amazon couldn't tell them stay the fuck away from the driver. Like, it's just one piece of code that you have to put on your final page. Stay away from the fucking driver. I felt like I was waterboarding myself most of the time.
That's how I felt when I went to Disney the couple times I did when the mask rule was still in place.
Because fucking people can't wash their hands and they can't follow fucking instructions.
Bless 'em.
Assholes. And
Anywho.
Speaking of COVID, I've been playing Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why I say speaking of COVID is because Las Plagas are a plague, and they are COVID-y. They get people infected, and then they infect other people, and then Leon has to kill them with bullets in the face, and kicks and knife stabs. I wanted this game to be awful. I wanted this game to be terrible. I wanted it to be the worst remake of all time. And this is the best remake of all time. They took a perfect game and made it even more perfect. How can you perfect something that's already perfect? They They made it perfecter.
Oh my God.
That's how amazing this game is. Like, I have been sitting here pretty much the entire weekend just playing Resident Evil 4 Remake.
You have.
And it is meaty as fuck. I've put into it like 8 or 9 hours, and I am still just like halfway through the castle.
I need you to stop playing it again tonight to come hang out with me. Watch my show.
No can do.
Yes,
No
can do.
No can do.
Catman do.
No, just I gotta edit this, and then I gotta hop back into Resident Evil and shoot zombies in the face. It's so good. Like, I'm happy that it's this good. Like, it. You know how I play Resident Evil 4 at least once every year? I go through it.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna do that with this game instead.
Oh boy.
It is so fucking good. I feel like the people are saying like it's very scary. Like, it's not scary at all. It's just a little bit tense. Like when you get ganged up on by a bunch of plagas and they have like their worm heads hanging out and they're trying to eat your head off. It gets a little bit tense, but I wouldn't say that this game is scary at all. It is so good. They added the knife now. It breaks, which I kind of hate. I think that's fucking stupid that they decided to make the knife breakable. But they did add like a stealth element where you can crouch and walk up behind a zombie and like stab them and kill them in one blow. And there is a boss fight in the game where you can do the exact same thing. It's a giant monster dude with Wolverine claws, and he's blind, so he reacts to sound and he just starts swinging wildly. And like the room where you fight him has a bunch of chains dangling from the ceiling, so you have to watch where you walk so that you don't alert him to where you are. And you have to sneak up on him and stab him. Like, you can shoot him in the back and whatnot if you feel like it, but they give you a trophy for stabbing him in the back. So it's like 6 stabs and it's over.
It sounds lovely.
It's really, really good. I really, really am enjoying this game.
Fun times.
It's worth
stabbing people in the back.
Worth the $60.
If you say so.
So fucking good. Game of the year already.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we go into a class on Shadow of War? I don't think this is going to be that long.
I did read a little bit more of the history of The Hobbit. I told you I read one section that was incredibly boring as fuck. So, like, he'll give a chapter of the book in that first draft. And then he'll do a chapter, not even a chapter. He'll, like, break apart different parts of that chapter and give his notes on things that changed and whatnot. But as I said on the last episode, I had just gotten to Gollum, Riddles in the Dark. And so I had not reached the end of that chapter to get into his commentary. Fuck my life. Fuck it all to hell
What's
and
a
back.
doll?
Yes, because that's where Bilbo gets the ring. So then we got to go into where he got the inspiration for rings, magic rings, rings that make you invisible. And we were talking about some the Arthurian legend shit, and I think there was even some Socrates in there or something. I don't even know. And some fucking old English, and of course we got all the passages oh my god, it was so fucking boring. So fucking boring. I like this magic ring. I don't need to know what
Inspired
abysmal piece of literature may have inspired it. It was because it was all just speculation too. But it was long. It was so I found myself skipping passages. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But it's still fun. It was just that was a little bit of a sinkhole for me. But now I'm back out of it, and I'm reading about the wargs, which were originally called weorgs.
Weirgs.
Weorgs.
Weirgs.
Weorgs.
I have a question for you, and this might be
What?
I know the answer for me. If you were born in those times, all the way back then, before
Back when?
before Lord of the Rings,
Oh.
would you have been an avid book reader?
Yeah, I would have been a Jane Austen
Fan?
diehard. Yeah,
You might have been an author.
maybe. A sad, sad woman. I would have been a spinster. I know that. If I followed the same timeline that I followed now, I would have been a spinster, and I would have died alone with my books. Yep, just like Jane Austen.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I would have killed myself
Oh God.
because video games have been in my life ever since I have a memory.
Oh, bless it.
I don't know what type of person I would be.
You probably would have been like a fighter or something.
A fighter.
I don't know. On
Like
drugs.
in a dockyard or something, like in a mud pit.
Yeah. And you would have been a rake.
A rake. What the fuck is a rake?
You don't know what a rake is?
No.
Oh, it's a very what's the word? Promiscuous man.
Oh.
That was a rake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have been a rake.
Definitely.
Tarnishing the reputations of all the innocent ladies in town, except poor me, because I'm a spinster, and rakes don't touch spinsters, except in that one Lisa Kleypas novel that I really loved.
All right. Do you want to start this class on Shadow of War?
I can't start it. I don't know anything about Shadow of War except Talion and Celebrimbor and Wraith stuff.
Wraith stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a class on Shadow of War. So, I am pretty sure the listeners are wondering what the fuck a class on is. So, a few weeks ago, when I talked about Dead Space, the remake coming out, I basically gave you a class on what Dead Space is. And
I Googled scary photos.
and you were horrified.
Scary photos.
And some of the listeners really liked it. So, we decided to turn this into a thing, a segment called A Class On. So I'm going to give Karradyne a class on Shadow of War, Middle-earth Shadow of War, just like I did on Dead Space. She's going to Google images. She's going to be invested. She's not just going to stay on her phone, not paying attention or being like, okay, yikes, whenever I say stuff, right? You're going to pay attention?
Maybe.
I'm going to give you an F if you don't. I
I
should.
I
We
don't
should
think
like.
I have ever gotten an F
We should.
ever in my life.
We should like make tests. Do these episodes and make a quiz to give each other at the end.
I don't like school.
That would be awesome.
That's why I struggle with
It's
these assigned reads you give me.
it's like 5 questions. Like I give you a class and then you answer the questions and you fail, right?
No,
Yeah, you fail.
I don't fail. I'm
So,
smart.
so what is Middle Earth: Shadow of War? So, Middle Earth: Shadow of War is a 2017 action adventure video game developed by Monolith Productions and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. It's a sequel to 2014's Shadow of Mordor, and it is based on J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium. I don't know what Legendarium is. Yeah, so it was released on October 10th, 2017. It's available on PS4, Windows, Xbox One. And
We were together.
yes, we were. You bought me this game, remember?
I did?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember.
You went to GameStop. You bought me this. You bought me South Park. You bought me...
Oh, I got this on that Thanksgiving Black Friday
Yes, you did.
trip where you weren't in town and I went and had dinner with your family and the half of them were at the hospital and I had no idea.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
a lovely night.
So this game picks up right at the end of Shadow of Mordor. So you remember Talion convinced Celebrimbor to go take down Sauron and whatnot. So it starts with them forging their ring. They forge their own version of the One Ring. So you know how Sauron's One Ring has Sauron's power and life and everything in it?
His power and malice and life force.
Same thing, but with Celebrimbor.
Okay.
So it's a ring that rivals the One Ring, but it's from the Bright Lord instead of the Dark Lord.
Okay.
Right? Following so far?
So is it silver?
Yes, it's silver and the
Okay.
letters are blue.
I like gold better.
So they create the ring, right? And they start hearing a voice to come to wherever. And when they get there, no, actually, I'm wrong. No. Celebrimbor gets sucked out of Talion's soul by guess who?
Gollum.
Shelob.
Okay. Right, because she's a woman.
Yes, she's a sexy bitch in this game.
They did to Sheila what Fantastic Beasts did to Nagini.
Yes, they made her hot.
Yeah.
Yes. Not Asian, but hot.
Not Asian, but hot. Okay.
So,
Big titty goth girlfriend.
yes, a big titty goth spider girlfriend with many legs, with many children. So, your first mission
Many
is,
eyes.
your first mission is to go get Celebrimbor back. Because Celebrimbor's powers are in the ring, then you don't really need Celebrimbor. But Talion feels some sort of obligation to him,
He has a conscience.
so he goes saves Celebrimbor.
He feels bad.
Shelob makes him a trade. She's like, "Give me the ring, and I'll give you Celebrimbor." And Celebrimbor's like, "Don't be fucking stupid. Don't do it." And he gives her the ring and gets Celebrimbor back. And then Celebrimbor is pissy throughout the entire game because he doesn't have his ring.
I mean, I don't blame him.
Eventually, they get the ring back. I have no idea how because I didn't get that far this time around, and I don't remember at all.
You made it all the way through last time?
Yes. A lot of the things that I felt about this game were that the map was so huge because you have like a bunch of maps that you can go to, and they all have a bunch of quests and shit to do and like items to collect. And I was like, I am not doing this shit. Like, I don't have the brain fortitude to do this. And on top of that, I have to fight all of these asshole orcs because the Nemesis system is back. And the orcs are even bigger assholes this time, but they don't play that bullshit of you can't hurt me any other way if it's not with an orc type thing. So anyways, long story short, Talion meets a Blade of Galadriel with Celebrimbor. Talion wants to take over Middle Earth, and Celebrimbor wants to go kill Sauron, right? So they have a falling out. Celebrimbor goes with the Blade of Galadriel to kill Sauron, and Talion keeps a ring from one of the wraiths, which ends up being Isildur's ring. So he becomes one of the Nazgul. And the game ends with Talion fighting off armies of orcs from Sauron for years and years and years until he finally succumbs to the ring and becomes a full wraith. In the meantime, then this is where it gets fucking weird, because this is what I want to tell you that you're going to find super fucking weird. All of this is strange. So there's a DLC that I hadn't played called The Blade of Galadriel. You play as one of Galadriel's blades with Celebrimbor in tow. The elf's name is Altariel. And she has Celebrimbor's ring. At the beginning of the DLC, they're fighting Sauron. Sauron sucks Celebrimbor out of her, but she keeps the ring. Sauron becomes the tower with the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrimbor is trapped inside the eye. So whenever you see the eye all red with the black line, there's always like a little white line. That's supposedly Celebrimbor.
What?
Yes.
What?
It gets fucking weirder.
Oh, dear.
Her whole goal is to free Celebrimbor from Sauron's eye. She needs to take control of the place where the tower is. So she joins forces with Talion. When she joins forces with Talion, he says, okay, you have the ring from Celebrimbor. You can make the orcs submit to your will and they will do your bidding. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to befriend them and they're going to help me. So she actually befriends orcs and they help her at the end fight off 2 rogue Nazgul.
That's wacky.
2 rogue Nazgul, right?
Uh-huh.
When you kill the 2 Nazgul at the end of the game, it turns out that they were women.
What?
They were queens. They were twin sisters. It gets weirder.
They took a lot of liberties here.
And they were from a land like China.
This game needs to be burned.
You're so fucking weirded out.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, it's like 2 Chinese warrior women were the 2 Nazgul who went rogue and wanted to overthrow Sauron. But they also wanted Celebrimbor's ring to do it.
No.
It's super weird. And like they fight with like a chain with a hook and a weight on the other. So they use like, it's not even a Chinese weapon. It's a Japanese weapon that they used to fight. It's like, what? And like they show their backstory and they were like conquerors. They would go out and conquer lands in the name of the emperor. And when they got back one time, they had killed some kings that had rings given to them by Sauron. So they put on the rings. Those rings corrupted them, so they killed their dad and then just had their forces like start taking over Middle-earth China, for lack of a better name.
Okay.
Until one day, the Witch King goes up to them and he says, let's go, and they just get up and follow him. Till eventually they break the fucking curse, because, yeah, they did somehow. And it doesn't stop there. So, after Eltariel kills the 2 Nazgul, she is walking out of the temple wherever they fought with Talion, and Talion falls over and she says, it's time, I have to kill you. And he says, that's all right, but please don't do it here. Let's go back to Gondor. Kill me in Gondor. He says, okay.
The land of my people.
Exactly. So she takes him back to Gondor. In Gondor, he goes full Nazgul.
Of course.
Attacks her. They fight. Eltariel wins. Somehow he escapes. And then Eltariel dedicates the rest of her life to freeing Talion from the Nazgul curse and to free Celebrimbor. It gets crazier. Once the ring is destroyed, the One Ring is destroyed, and the tower collapses with Sauron's eye. Celebrimbor flies out of it. Like, he flies out of it. And she had been all of those decades, centuries even, in Mordor, trying to save Talion and Celebrimbor. And when he flies away, she says, now it's my time to go find Celebrimbor and save him. The Bright Lord just like... And she still had the Ring of Light from Celebrimbor. All of those years later, Someone who could have helped turn the tide of the war in Minas Tirith or fucking Helm's
Because
Deep.
she's not real.
I don't fucking know.
Oh my god. That sounds like Lord of the Rings on crack.
It kind of felt like it. I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Feels like Lord of the Rings fever dream.
Like I was into it.
Pulling pieces from all over the place and trying to push them together to make it work.
So I was like into it, and I was like, those two Nazgûl sound like women. And then they're like sisters. And I'm like, okay, they are women. Fine, whatever. Then they're like, they're from Middle Earth, China. And I'm like, what? Like, what? They're like dressed in like full...
Did it literally say they're from Middle Earth's China?
No, but they were like dressed in like ancient Chinese clothes. You know,
Like
their
Mulan.
dad... Yes, their dad was an emperor. They all had, you know, Asian faces. I don't...
It's fucking weird.
I don't know. Like there, I was like, I'm out. Like if I was out before, I am all the way out. This is fucking weird. I can do with sexy Shelob. Ancient Chinese, Middle Earth, China,
Women race.
Nazgûls.
I don't care what they're Chinese. Women ring wraiths. No. No. No.
I am more stuck on the Chinese thing.
Nope, I'm more stuck. No, I'm not stuck on the Chinese thing. Because think about all the people that Sauron recruits for the big battle at the end, and all the people, the people, yeah, the people who are on the Oliphants. I mean, they're obviously like Indian or Arabic or something. God, we sound really racist right now. We're just gonna end here. Oh God, they ain't white.
They're not white,
and they ain't black.
And that's fine because like this game has one black guy. Like
that's a miracle.
The first black guy in all of Lord of the Rings is in this game.
Did you see that TikTok that I shared? They're making magic cards that are Lord of the Rings.
Really?
And Aragorn is actually black. And a black guy shared a picture of it on TikTok. And he was, oh, it's going to make me cry. He was bawling his eyes out.
Because of black Aragorn?
Yes, he's like, oh God.
She's crying.
He was basically saying that Lord of the Rings is like his favorite thing in the world. And
What's it, New Better, Do Better?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay.
It was a somewhat nobody creator. Because Newbetta's got, you know, like I think he's got a million followers.
To, like, the premiere of
the Rings of Power and everything.
Remind me to tell you something about Rings of Power, unless you saw it on Discord.
Okay. But yeah, he was just bawling his eyes out. It was like, this is why representation matters, because I was never able to see my favorite thing in the world and see myself in it. So that was really nice.
That's pretty
see,
cool.
I'm not racist.
You're crying because it's upsetting you that Aragorn is black now.
Well, yeah, I can't say that I thought he was as attractive as Viggo Mortensen, but he could.
Not even Viggo Mortensen is that attractive.
No, he really isn't. He's not attractive at all. He has a really funny shaped face, but you put all that scruff on him and put that hair, and then it's okay. Yeah. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
There's another DLC in the game. This one is a bit weirder. I was out of it like immediately. You play as a dude called Baranor. He's the black Gondorian ranger, and you work with a dwarf called Torvin, who was in the first game. And I'm just gonna read what the story says here on Wikipedia. So after the fall of Minas Ithil, which is the Gondorian city that you're fighting in most of the game, Baranor seeks to hire mercenaries to help him seize the fortress of Shindrim. On the way, he is attacked by worms and rescued by the dwarf called Torvin, who helps develop gadgets for Baranor, such as a grappling hook and a glider. So it goes kind of fucking Breath of the Wild in this shit, like Breath of the Wild came out around this time too, so I understand. Baranor continues to the Vanishing Sons mercenary camp, where he discovers they are led by his estranged older brother, Jagai, who now goes by the name of Circa. Circa reluctantly agrees to help Baranor take Shindram in return for all the loot stored inside. However, another mercenary, Soja, betrays Circa and sends him to fight in an orc fighting pit. Baranor rescues Circa, who reasserts control over the Vanishing Sons and executes Soja. After repelling an orc attack, Baranor and Circa lead their army and seize Shindram, doing so by destroying the fortress overlord, Takra. However, rather than hold the fortress, they leave a trap for the orcs sent to retake it. Baranor and Sekra leave to seize more fortresses, deciding that Gorgoroth will be their next target. So this is a story that does absolutely nothing to continue anything in the Lord of the Rings mythos.
Very true.
This is one of those useless stories that Dave was talking about. And I guess from a gameplay stand, it's... I can't even say it's okay because I fucking hated it. So the fun part about Shadow of War is that when you die, you're reborn, and then the orcs remember, I killed you, I'm going to smash your head in twice as hard now. In this one, if they kill you, it's game over. You have to start the entire game over again.
Shit.
So... And you don't have any ring powers. You don't have any special abilities or anything. It's just hard for the sake of being hard. Like, I didn't enjoy it. I really did not enjoy it at all. But the Blade of Galadriel, as batshit as it got, was still somewhat fun.
What were you going to tell me about the Rings of Power?
A horse had a heart attack they were like rehearsing a scene of a bunch of horses just running towards the camera, and one of them had a heart attack.
That's so sad. Oh my god.
Unfortunately, it wasn't the one Galadriel was riding.
Oh my god. No, I'm pumped to see. I do not know how to pronounce his name at all. Let me Google it and see if I can. If it has a pronunciation guide. How do you pronounce this name?
And you're writing it down. What's the name? Whose name is it?
Hold on.
Is it one of the elves?
I don't know who he's playing.
Who is it?
Hold on.
Oh my lord.
Kieran Hines.
Who the fuck is Kieran Hines?
He is an old man who I love very much. He's in Game of Thrones. He's in Harry Potter. He's in Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, or whatever the name of that movie is. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, but I can never remember the name quite right. But he's going to be in season 2. I love him. He's Aberforth Dumbledore, and he is, not that you'd know because we didn't make it that far in Game of Thrones. He's like the king of the wildlings or whatever. Yeah. Mance Raider or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I only read about him. I didn't see him, but I love him.
So
that's Lord of the Rings on crack, and I don't think I would care for it.
I was fine with it the first time I played it. I was like, I can get behind sexy Shelob. I can get behind Celebrimbor and this elf going off to do whatever. I can get behind Talion being a ring wraith. I can't get behind Middle Earth China. That is just crazy.
I can't get behind women being Nazgul.
Like,
yay women, pro women, like, not women as Nazgul.
So if Middle Earth China does exist, indeed, like if it does exist, and how it's presented in the game, it's what it's supposed to look like in the Middle Earth mythos and world or whatever, I'm cool with it. But like, it's literally like if they took Mulan, put 2 Mulans in there, and made them Nazgul at the end. It was weird. It was fucking weird.
Yeah, because if you're gonna have China in Middle Earth, they need to at least like have more of a Middle Earth Chinese look, not just China.
No, like make them like
Middle Earth-esque.
Yes.
Kind of like the people on the Oliphants were. They still had a Middle Earth look, but still Arabic or Indian or whatever the hell.
Yeah. Like
and the Viking people They had a Middle Earth look to them.
Don't just put like a straight up Chinese palace there and be like,
China in Middle Earth. Oh boy!
like
We're
I'm
gonna
cool.
burn
I'm
in
cool.
hell.
I'm cool with the Chinese Nazgul women. That's
I'm not.
awesome. It's cool. Like when I heard them talking, I'm like,
No
are they
women
fucking women?
as
And then they're like,
Nazgul.
their sis killed the Nazgul sister. So I'm like,
What?
fuck, that is awesome. Yeah, I'll fucking kill them. And then, oh man,
It's weird.
it's super weird. Like I am gonna find the video. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna find the video. And I'm gonna wake you watch it. We'll be
Okay.
back in a sec.
Okay.
All right. So we're back. We just watched the video. Karradyne, tell me what you think.
That was some tacky ass shit. When he flew out of that eye, it looked like a balloon deflating. It looked like Casper. It looked like Casper, the friendly ghost floating away, just whoosh. It was really fast. Whoop.
What about
I know we watched it for the Empresses. They're pulling at straws. They're pulling at straws.
I know nothing
Not
of
to
Middle Earth,
mention
and I
that
know that that's not
animation
true.
was bad.
It's from 2017.
It
Things have
was
gone on better.
real bad.
It's kind
That
of bad.
was
Stilted, no emotions.
yeah.
I do like Troy Baker's performance as Talion. He is just so good at everything he
But he
does.
stole Bilbo's line.
He
I didn't
say
like that.
Bilbo's line.
That was infuriating. No.
Are you sure?
I'm really hung up on I can just hear like a balloon.
Deflating when it
Yes,
flies
and
out.
shooting off. Yeah, that was, oh my God. Oh,
What did you think
man.
about Sexy Sauron with the long blonde hair?
Oh, that's also, I mean, obviously he can take lots of different forms and he wants to be beautiful. And that is close to like how I've seen a lot of artwork done of him. Nothing has ever, no art that I've ever seen has ever suggested that he would look like Halbrand. Never. That doesn't surprise me so much, but he did look kind of like, have you watched enough of that Extreme Sister show with me to know the Southern girls with the gray blonde hair? He looked like one of them.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Randy and Jordan
Yeah.
from Dallas, Texas.
The ones that shower together.
Yes. Man, you missed some weird shit last week.
I don't care.
They were feeling up each other's vaginas.
Oh, come on. I don't care.
Yeah, he looked like one of them. But that didn't throw me off so much because he's normally depicted as like really pretty and
So now you see why I had a problem with the Chinese.
yeah,
Middle
yeah,
Earth China.
yeah. Make it clear, you don't have a problem with the Chinese.
No. Or with China. I have a problem with Middle Earth China.
The depiction in Shadow of War is a little troubling. We'll
Yes.
put it that way.
Because it's like, it's China, but there's a lot of Japanese elements included into it. And they don't work. They don't look good together. They mesh. They clash real hard.
Yeah, they went a little like extreme there. I
Yep.
don't know. Yeah, I don't care for that. Nope,
No.
they're pulling at straws,
Yeah.
grasping at straws, I should say.
So yeah. So
No, thank you.
So what?
I mean, I feel bad because I enjoyed what you showed me of the beginning of Shadow of Mordor.
Talion dying.
Yeah,
and-
it was a fun time.
Yeah.
It was an interesting beginning.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I feel like it went off the rails on that DLC. Like
Pretty quickly.
I could fuck with everything except for like that one part at the end. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's so jarring.
The little balloon flying away.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's a class on Shadow of War.
Thanks.
What did you think?
You did a good job. I'm not impressed with the content, but I know you were limited to what you were given. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I have no idea what we're gonna do next year for Middle Earth March.
I don't know either. I'm gonna need this man to write some new books.
I'm gonna need some new games. Maybe Gollum. I'll
You
play
know
Gollum
what
at
we
some
should do
point
next
year.
Okay, yeah, you play Gollum, but I think you should read some of those David Day books that I have. Remember the one that you saw me reading at the pool one day when we lived at the old place with all the illustrations and stuff, and you thought it looked kind of interesting? I think you would like. They're very, very quick reads, very quick and very easy.
Okay, we'll see. So I'm gonna make you read a lot of manga this year.
Oh God. Well, then it's only fair that you read something that I want you to read.
Yeah.
Only fair.
Yeah.
Well, shit, I might as well just let you read The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and
No,
get your. Yeah, that would be so fun. I could read it to you.
I'm not
I
gonna
can
pay
pretend
attention.
I'm Andy Serkis.
No,
I can have you listen to Andy Serkis.
no, I'm good.
He's so good.
I'm good.
I love him.
I'm good.
Oh God.
So yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Karradyne, do you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Goodbye, my precious.
Fucking
I'm
weird.
I'm trying to do a Middle Earth send off.
Goodbye, everyone.